Everyone knows the story of Moses on Mount Sinai receiving the tablets of the law. But there's a forgotten event recorded in Exodus 24 that challenges everything we've been taught about seeing God's face. The Bible clearly says, "No man shall see my face and live." Exodus 33:20. So explain this. Exodus 24:9-11 records that Moses, Aaron, his 2 sons, and 70 elders of Israel climbed the mountain, and they saw the God of Israel, and they ate and drank. How is this possible? Let's read exactly what's written in Exodus 24:9-11. Then Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel. And under his feet there was something like a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heaven for clearness. But against the nobles of the people of Israel he did not lay his hand. They beheld God and ate and drank. Read that again. 74 men saw God. They didn't have a vision. They didn't dream. They saw. And then they did something even more shocking. They participated in a meal in the divine presence. This is one of the most extraordinary and least discussed events in all of Scripture. To understand the magnitude of this moment, we need to go back to the context. Israel had just come out of Egypt. God had established a covenant with his people at the foot of Mount Sinai. Moses had read the book of the covenant, and the people responded, "All that the Lord has spoken we will do, and we will be obedient." It was then that God called, "Come up to me on the mountain," Exodus 24:12. But God didn't just call Moses. He specifically ordered that Aaron, his 2 eldest sons, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel go up together. Why? Why did God need 74 witnesses? The answer lies in the concept of covenant in the ancient Near East. Great pacts required witnesses. This feast wasn't casual. It was the cosmic ratification of the covenant between the Creator and his chosen nation. The Hebrew text uses the word ra'ah, which means to see literally, with physical eyes. It's not a mystical or figurative word, but what exactly did they see? The text gives fascinating details. Under his feet there was something like a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heaven for clearness. Now they saw God's feet upon a heavenly sapphire floor, bright as the firmament. Imagine, the pavement beneath the feet of divinity was so glorious it looked like the heavens. Rabbinic scholars have debated for millennia what this means. Some suggest they saw a theophany, a temporary physical manifestation of God. Others believe they saw the kavod, the divine glory in corporeal form. What we know for certain, they experienced a real, tangible, and visual manifestation of the living God. But here's the part that leaves theologians perplexed. They beheld God and ate and drank. In ancient Middle Eastern culture, sharing a meal was the supreme act of making covenant. Enemies who ate together became allies. Meals sealed life and death pacts. This feast on Mount Sinai wasn't casual. It was the celebration of the ultimate covenant between the Creator of the universe and a nation of former slaves. Think about the audacity of this moment. Mortal men, still with desert dust on their sandals, eating and drinking in the manifest presence of the Almighty. And the most surprising part, the verse says, "Against the nobles of the people of Israel, he did not lay his hand," meaning God protected them from dying for seeing him. The story gets even darker when we look to the future. Of those 74 men who saw God and lived, 2 didn't last very long, Nadab and Abihu. Just a few chapters later in Leviticus 10, these same 2 sons of Aaron offer strange fire before the Lord and are instantly consumed by divine fire. Coincidence? Many scholars believe Nadab and Abihu became presumptuous after seeing God. The Talmud suggests they drank wine before ministering and discussed when Moses and Aaron would die so they could assume leadership. They saw the glory, but didn't maintain the fear. Why would God allow so many men to see him when he himself said that no one can see his face and live? The answer lies in the concept of covenant. God was establishing something unprecedented, an entire nation as his special people, a kingdom of priests. This experience of 74 witnesses would serve as an unshakable foundation for Israel's faith. It wasn't just Moses who had encountered God, it was leaders from all the tribes, respected elders who would return and testify, "We saw." It was also a prophetic foreshadowing. This feast on Mount Sinai pointed to a future feast, the marriage supper of the Lamb, when all the redeemed will sit at the table with Christ himself. What does this forgotten event teach us today? First, God reveals himself in ways that challenge our limited theology. He doesn't fit in our doctrinal boxes. Second, spiritual privilege doesn't guarantee perseverance. Nadab and Abihu saw God and still fell. Supernatural experiences don't replace continued obedience. Third, fellowship with God is the ultimate goal. That heavenly feast was a glimpse of the eternal purpose, to be in God's presence, in joy and fellowship. Fourth, covenant requires witnesses. God doesn't act in secret. He establishes his kingdom with transparency and public testimony. 74 men climbed a mountain and did something that should be impossible. They saw God and lived. More than that, they feasted in the Creator's presence. This forgotten mystery of Exodus 24 reminds us that our God is bigger, more mysterious, and more generous than we imagine. And one day, if you belong to Christ, you too will sit at the heavenly feast. Not 74, but countless multitudes from every tribe and tongue. Want to discover more hidden mysteries in Scripture? Subscribe and hit the bell. The truth is waiting.